Hello, Tommy with an H here with Xperience Momentum, Referrals, Training, and Coaching. Here to cover something today that people have been indicating that they're having a challenge with, and to really explain how our Attract, Inspire, Grow philosophy actually works. So a lot of people want to generate referrals. That's a given, right? I think most people know that operating by referral would be a lot more fun, ultimately a lot easier, than the opposing viewpoint, right? Than doing the cold calling. And when I say easier, it is work, but specifically, maybe it wouldn't take so much mental fortitude to overcome it, to do it every day, right? To do the consistent daily activity that's going to create results. And, you know, the strategies that are in the book, The 7 Levels of Communication, which is where I've pulled all the strategies that I have from, right, in combination with Catalyst, the group coaching program. I'm privately coached by ReferCo, by Arnell at ReferCo. I've done event mastery multiple times, done events. So I've been implementing and using all these strategies. And what I recognize is there's a step before the strategy in particular, because you can have the strategy, but if you're pouring the strategy into the wrong people, then you're not going to get the results that you ultimately want. So as we've been executing and just looking back at my own story in my own life, I started to realize a couple key things. So the first is that when I built my businesses before, specifically a coaching business and a network marketing business, I was trying to do everything online. I was doing the marketing. I was doing the mass marketing approach, right? But what happened was those businesses, I had initial success. I always had initial success, but I struggled to make that jump into the online world. And I just couldn't figure it out. But when I looked back at the people who helped with that fast success, the coaching clients, the team, people who joined me on the team or bought a membership from me, were the people who had personally met me. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So they like me, they're joining me. And I thought, well, that's quite curious, but I didn't know how to replicate that. Like, how do you duplicate that? How do you just, oh, well, I don't know, they just like me, so they attract. Here's the problem. That isn't duplicatable. And I have always in my life, especially in my entrepreneur career, but really anywhere, wanted to help other people grow. And ultimately, it's that American dream. It's creating the business. It's having the lifestyle. It's the freedom that we're all, those of us who are in this space are all ultimately desiring. And I would argue that everybody desires it. They just don't think it's possible. So there's a bunch of limiting beliefs because of the way that they were brought up. But ultimately, who wouldn't want to be able to do what they want when they want without financial ramifications, right? If you want to be able to do nothing, but still be able to pay your bills, right? And not work, right? Ultimately, and that's residual income, right? So I've always had this desire to do that, but the only way I also knew that the only way to get what I want is help other people get what they want. And I was like, well, I haven't cracked the code on this yet. So I went through this process, and as I found 7L, I started to evolve the step before the relationship, right? The strategies in 7L are fantastic, but there's more to it than that. How do you take somebody who is starting at square one in their relationships, and specifically when it comes to, I mean, this is all in the context of business, right? So we're talking about the ability for somebody to go into the marketplace locally in their local community, right? Because again, what I had realized was online wasn't working. the people who knew me the most were the people I had personally met. So it made sense that I would go be in the local marketplace. So that therefore is the impact I want to make is on the local marketplace. And eventually multiple local marketplaces, right? but where I'm going to be is going to be in one, right? So we go locally and take someone who's just getting going and help them build their relationships and generate referrals and do it as reliably and systematically as the cold calling methodologies in terms of like a schedule to run on, right? The book to run on. When I was with a popular supplemental insurance company, they had their playbook, and their playbook was, you know, on this day, from this time to this time, you're doing these drops, they call them, right? Walking into businesses. And again, this is mainly for B2B, but I know it applies in B2C realms as well, because people still cold call and they still pound pavement, right? So, you know, and then it was Wednesday, you would do these drops and these phone calls. And then Tuesday you would do this. And then Fridays and Mondays were like follow-up calls, basically. So they had this like rhythm. Like, just get on the rhythm, report the numbers, and the results will come. Well, the problem is, well, there's a lot of problems. I don't think I really need to go into that, or you wouldn't be watching the video. But the point is, I was not willing to do it because it's not in alignment with who I am. My success has always come with the personal interaction. So, so I said, okay. So we went to market with this philosophy. The philosophy started with leading with you. Lead with you. You are the key. You are the blueprint, as David DiGiorgio would say. The question was, how do you take that and put it into a B2B space, right? And so I really broke it down after learning into three core ideas, so three core components, right? What moves people to want to work with you before you ever say what you do? That's the question. What will move people? What makes people go, yes, preach, I'm on board. I believe the same thing. This is what happened to me in my life. This is my story that relates to your story. How does it happen that happens at a networking event, that happens in a one-to-one, that happens on a phone call? That is what we're going for. So, I get fired up. This is all off the cuff. I'm just gonna let you know. It's all off the cuff. But this is the stuff that fires me up because it just lights me up. What can I say? It's a bigger story. Anyway, so I broke it down to three core things. Your belief systems, your core values, and your mission. What impact do you want to make? And here's the thing. If you don't have some idea of that, you've got some work to do. You've got some work to do if you haven't done the growth to work on that. So that may be your next step if you can't say at least some level of what that is. If you've never heard of the idea that we're all put on this earth for a reason and to make an impact and those sorts of things, then definitely start reading the personal development books. Probably start with Tony Robbins. You know, that's probably the most common one, right? Anyway, so I don't think that's the case because you're watching this video. And it's probably not the case. So your core values, your beliefs, and your mission. So imagine then if a company has their core values, beliefs, and mission, and that gets used to recruit new employees. That's utilized in the onboarding process. And then on the other side of that, if you're building a referral network, right, your personal referral community, you're leading with these things to find the good fit, Because if you learn how to explain those things, your like, know, and if you know how to share that story, that's where human connection lies in commonality. So sharing those components, and then maybe some story as to how you came about it, but sharing those components for you is going to drive the relationship deeper, quicker. right? You're going to go from the 0 to like maybe a 6 or 7. And then it doesn't take a lot of work to get up to an 8 to a 10. And that's where the referral zone is. Right? So making sure you're aligned with the right people. But what's interesting is when you lead with these things, you start attracting customers as well who believe in the same things. Because if you're talking to a potential customer, and this happens a lot in networking, right? And you're going, well, we believe in this, and we have, the core values are this. This is how we go to market, and we always want to be an example of these values, and we just really want to make a bigger impact on XYZ. Just something as simple as that. The people that are your target market and are in agreement, they will run up to you. They will run up to you and say, I want to have an appointment with you. I've had it happen, literally. I did a pitch about love, generosity, and appreciation. I had someone come running up to me to do a one-on-one. Magic. It works, but it's got to be authentic, of course, right? It goes without saying. So, it as a concept, leading with you is what this called works. So we've got to dig into leading with you. So what we've done, and this is all just the attract part. We haven't even gotten to inspire. Inspire is a whole nother thing. But just the attraction part is about finding the right fit. It's about finding the ideal client, the ideal employee, and the ideal referral partner for you, right? Once you've attracted those people and you're like, this is a fit, now you invite them to the next step in the relationship. Now, that next step could simply be an event, right, that you're hosting. That next step could be an invitation to be kind of your inner circle, people that you're going, I really like you. There's an opportunity for us to work together. I would like to keep in touch on a regular basis with you. And then you have to actually do it, right? But point is, there's an invitation there. You can also do the invitation via you could invite them to your Facebook group. If you have a Facebook group. If you don't have one, you should, because basically you create your tribe. I mean, that's at the core of this, right? Finding people who believe what you believe and want to be part of something bigger. But even if you don't have the Facebook group, that's okay. Maybe it's your newsletter. Can you put out newsletter content? I'm not talking about newsletter about what you do. I'm saying like it's you, So that's the attraction part. And that has to happen first. We've found that when we stand up and we pitch, we're Xperience. We build relationships with love, generosity, appreciation, education, and trust. And we bring services to local businesses who helps them in those areas. We have an employee benefits company that helps them take care of the relationship with their employees. And we have a referrals training and coaching company that helps them with the relationship with their clients and their partners, right? Doesn't that make sense? So that's attraction. I'm going to save inspiration for another day, but that is attraction. Go out and attract. Lead with you. And if you want to lead with you, if you want a very simple high-level version, come to Xperience Networking, because at Xperience Networking, we help draw out some core values that you can use in the marketplace that will drive deeper connections, or at least within the tribe. It's something everyone within the tribe, eventually, our group, the We Lead With You community, everyone within that will have their core values as a way to help foster deeper connections quicker and getting through the small talk. And those of you who hate small talk, this is perfect because it's right to the heart, right? Okay, very good. Inspiration, another day. I hope you found this helpful. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.